Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching the Technique of the Month from Digital Photo Magazine. This month I'm going to show you how to create a fantastic silhouette image using pictures that didn't start out as silhouettes. And we're going to be using Photoshop elements to do the job. Now this picture is a perfect image to become a silhouette. It's got a really strong graphic shape. But to make it into a silhouette I need to select the statue and then fill it with black. Now, selecting this statue sounds easy, but actually with all the different tones going on there, it's quite tricky. In fact, it's much easier to select the sky rather than the statue. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get the magic wand tool, and we'll just click on an area of sky. Now, what the magic wand tool does is to go and find areas of your picture that have similar tones to where you click. So it finds all the blue areas next to where you clicked, but it doesn't find the whole sky. So here's what we need to do. We need to hold the Shift key on the keyboard. As soon as we do that, a little plus icon appears next to your magic wand cursor. And now we're going to add to the selection we already have. So let's click again and we add another selection in. As long as you keep holding Shift, you can click around your picture until it adds in all of the bits of the sky that you want to select. So let's keep going around the outside like so. And now we've got the whole sky selected. Except we haven't really got the whole sky selected. We've gone around the outside of our statue. And of course there's sky between his arm and his leg and in other places. So those need to be added into the selection as well. So again, we'll hold the Shift key, that little plus icon appears, and we'll click on the bits we missed. We'll go between his legs there as well, and we'll do those. We'll make sure we get right down to the edges to get a nice clean selection. And also we need to do some smaller parts, like on the strap, between the strap and the rifle. We'll add those in as well. There we go. And there's some really tiny bits like inside of the trigger. We'll add that. And there's an even smaller bit somewhere if I work my way up. There we go. There's a small bit of sky between his arm and his body. So again, we'll hold the Shift key and click and add those in as well. Okay, so there we are. We've now gone around and found all of the bits of sky, even the small bits. And the better you can make your selection, the better your silhouette's going to look. But we don't want the sky selected, we want the statue to be selected. So let's go for select and inverse. So now the statue is selected and we can fill him with black. Make sure that you have black as your foreground colour, which we don't. So let's click the very small black and white squares so it is now black. And then we'll go to edit and choose fill selection. We'll fill it with the foreground colour and it all goes nice and black. Okay, so there's our silhouette, but we're not quite ready yet. There's a little bit more work we can do to that selection to really give this silhouette a nice little finesse. And we do that by going up to select, choosing modify, and coming down to contract. Because what tends to happen when you're making a silhouette is quite often you can get a very light fringe going around the edge of your silhouette. Now we don't want that, so we're going to contract our selection to try and minimize any fringing that we get. So we're going to contract it by just one single pixel. There we go. And we'll also go back to select and feather it as well. Now what feathering will do is it'll knock off any hard pixelated edges and just give it a slightly more softer, more natural selection. So again, we'll go with one single pixel and click OK. Right, we'll go back to edit, and this time we're going to choose cut. Now we could use copy if you prefer. I like to use cut because I can clearly see that I've done the job and I've cut him out. We can close this picture down, we don't need it now, but a little tip here, when it says do you want to save the changes, say no, because you might want to use this picture again in the future, and if you say yes, you'll end up with a picture with a white hole in the middle, which is probably not what you want. So I've got a background for this statue to go on to. Now I've already done a little bit of preparation on here, so we're ready to paste in the picture. Go to edit and paste our statue in. There he is. But at the moment he's a little bit on the big side, so we're going to shrink him down. We're going to use image, transform and free transform. Now you can also get free transform by using the keyboard shortcut Control and T, and that works across all versions of Photoshop. Make sure that you have a small tick on the options bar where it says constrain proportions, and just drag one of the corner handles in and you'll be able to shrink your little silhouette statue down. We can drag him somewhere else as well, because I'd like him to come over onto the right hand side, probably around about there somewhere. Lovely. When you're happy, just click the tick like that. Don't worry if it isn't in exactly the right place, because you can move him later on. Now, that's nice, but I'm not sure I like what he's standing on, because it's actually water down there, and that just doesn't look quite right. So we're going to find a new piece of land for him to stand on. So I've got another picture that I want to turn into a silhouette. This has got a nice line of cliffs, and it's a nice little line running down here that I like. Now again, we need to select these cliffs and the foreground and turn them into a silhouette. Now we could get the magic wand tool and try and select the cliffs and hold the shift and keep going, but what a mess. It's really hard to select them. Let's go for select and deselect. So just as before, we're going to select the sky. Always try and select the area that makes life the simplest but still gives you the same results. So let's click on the sky. We'll hold the shift key and keep clicking around the sky until we've got it all selected. Here we go. Lovely, that's fine. So now the whole sky is selected, but of course we want the cliffs to be selected. So we go to select and inverse. Let's fill those with black. Edit, fill selection, like that. So we now have our strong silhouette, but just like before, we're going to put that little bit of finesse onto the selection. Select, modify, and contract. Now, the contract will remember the last setting you used, so it should still say 1 pixel in there, and we can just say OK, and select and feather, and that should remember the setting you used last as well. So again, 1 pixel, OK, and then go back to edit, and I'm going to cut that out as well. Close it down, but don't save the changes. Back to edit, and paste it onto our main picture. So there we are. There's our cliffs pasted in, and it's put them in the same position as they were in the first picture that they came out of, but they're way too high in the air. So we're going to get the move tool, and we're going to drag these down towards his feet, somewhere like that. So the picture's really starting to come together, but there's a large area in the top left section where it's a little bit on the blank side. So what we're going to do is to add in a little flock of birds in there. So I've got a picture of some birds, here we go. And just as before, we're going to select the sky rather than trying to select each of these birds individually. So we'll get the magic wand tool, and we'll just go round on the sky area here, hold the shift key, and keep adding in any bits that we've missed. Keep holding shift as you work around the sky like that. I think that's more or less them all. Then come back and invert the selection, and then fill it, edit, fill selection with black. Now these steps should start to become quite familiar after a while, because we're now going to go back to select, modify, and contract it by 1 single pixel, and select, feather by another pixel. And then we can cut them out, edit, and cut. Again, we'll close it down, but we won't save the changes, but we will go up to edit and paste them in. Okay, so there's our birds, but again, they're not quite in the right place. Now, if anything on your picture isn't exactly where you want it to be, now's the time that you can move things around. Now you've got all of the elements together on the picture. Let's go to Window, and we'll choose Layers. Now, what you'll see are 3 or 4 layers. 4 layers, there we go. We've got the birds on one layer, we've got the cliffs, and then we have the main statue. Now, all of these things can be moved around. So I'm going to get the birds, I'm going to get the move tool, and I can move the birds, and only the birds move because each part is on its own separate layer. Now, if you want to move just the statue, you can get the statue and just shuffle that around as well. Maybe that should go over there a bit more. And when you're happy, there you go, there's your picture, and lovely, lovely silhouette image, all done using pictures that never started out as silhouettes in the first place.